Have you ever needed help while working with Linux, or have you ever felt confused when you saw all of these codes for the very first time? Alrighty then, no worries, because Linux is awesome. It has a solution for everything. Hello world, this is the Sphinx channel, and I've brought you today the third episode of our series, Linux for Hacking. Before we start, if you like this content, please subscribe to our channel, and if you've liked this video, don't forget to smash that like button. If you have any ideas or you want to learn something specific, you can share your thoughts with me in the comments. In the previous episodes, we learned so many things about different codes in Linux. In today's episode, we're going to find out what we could do if we got stuck somewhere in the terminal, or in case we encountered an error. How can we get help from Linux to fix these issues? And next, we're also going to learn two more cool stuff today. So without any waste of time, let's go. As you saw in the previous videos, we use a really amazing site that provides us with our own Linux laboratory. So let's go open that right now. If you don't know what we just did, you can learn the step-by-step process of entering your own awesome Linux lab by watching the first episode of this series. Alright, now first let's talk a little bit about the terminal. It doesn't matter what color it is, open it. Now about Mr. Terminal, what you actually see here is not the terminal itself, but it's a terminal emulator. In fact, when we say terminal, what we are talking about is that computer screen which seemingly contains a keyboard and a monitor. Overall, terminal has one job, and that is to give us access to stuff like codes and anything else we need to connect to the operating system. I'm gonna tell you something here which not a lot of people know. Codes and stuff we use here to interact with my computer is not terminal at all. This is a shell. Shell is a connector between us and OS or Linux. So I'm gonna repeat again. Terminal emulator acts as a physical tool like a keyboard or a monitor and is our UI shell. There are different types of shells. What we use here is called bash. You might have heard its name before. It's derived from born against shell. Now let me teach you a new code to find out what kind of shell we're currently using. It's time for a new command. Are you ready? Type ps inside the terminal, which is derived from process status. Click enter. Right here we can see our own shell. There are other shells as well, such as ZSH, fish, bat, dog, giraffe, and more. Now come here and open the blue terminal. Here, this is a shell, but it's a specified shell. It is a PowerShell. Yes, it's just like what we use in Windows Microsoft, and we have that here as well. It functions as a shell in Linux. If you write the previous code ps and press enter, you can see that it has written pwsh here, which stands for PowerShell. Now let's learn a little bit more about terminal. What are these here? We haven't put these here, so what are they? This part is your user account. It shows who you are, and after which the name of the host of the Linux you're using has been written here. After that, it shows you your current location inside the system, which is pwd. You haven't forgotten what pwd is, have you? At the end of all these, you can see a $sign. What is that? It shows that you are a user, or that you've logged into the system as a user. Now you might ask, don't we always log in as a user? I'd say yes, but sometimes we log on as a root user, and in that case, instead of $sign, you can see hashtag. It's important to know whether you've entered the system as root user or not, because in this case, you have a lot more power inside the terminal, and you're able to do so much more. It's good to be aware of that. Now let's learn a bunch of new codes. Type ID. It gives you all the info about yourself. Hostname gives you the name of the host. Uname talks about your Linux with some extra codes. Ifconfig, which talks about the network. IP talks mostly about the network. Netstate shows the state of your network. SS shows session stuff. PS shows processor stuff. env shows environment variables. lsbaq shows list blocks. lsusb shows any USBs plugged in. lsauth shows the list of open files. Alright, did you get all that? Of course not, I talk about them very fast. The reason I talk so fast like that was to make you feel like you need help. And right now I'm gonna show you how to get help. Let's be honest, if I explain all these codes in details, there's a high possibility you'd forget them till next week, right? I know I would. I'm certain you're definitely smarter than me, but people like me would appreciate some help in these situations. Now let's go into the terminal and use man. In order to know the details about any codes, we can use man. For example, type man uname and it will teach you a lot of things about uname, or write man IP to learn a lot of things about IP. But there's a much cooler way to access all the details of a code and learn about its functions. Type for example uname space -h, or instead of -h you can use --help. But what if we don't know which code we need to use? Like, in your head, you know what you want to do, but you can't remember which codes were used for that operation? Type apropos. Now imagine you want to perform an operation on the USB drive that is attached to your system, but you can't remember its codes. So come and type apropos USB. boom, you can find all the codes related to USB here. It's pretty cool, isn't it? With this, you can literally gain access to the codes of anything that crosses your mind. Now I want to end this video right here so you can have time to practice everything I've taught you today. Use -h or -help and the upper post repeatedly. One of the biggest qualities that will make you a professional in Linux is learning how to turn your work and ideas into codes, all by yourself. So use help as much as you can and go practice it right now. This is your homework. Once you feel like you've mastered these, there are quizzes inside the site which you can take, and if you get them right, it will give you cubes as prize. If you're not familiar with the functions of cubes, go back to my first video, I've explained it there. Anyways, thank you for staying with me until the end of this video. Now you're one more step closer to becoming a hacker. As we go on, you can see how easy it is to do your hacks with Linux and have hella fun. Don't forget to like this video and share your ideas about these series with me. Till another video, keep cool and stay anonymous.